Hey,
welcome.
Welcome to Pints and Pasta. I love it. So this episode, I think we're going to talk about some of our childhood, right? We're going to
a little bit, some memories of the best toys we've ever had and the ones we never could get,
and the ones we got our kids to make up for it. There you go. So today, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story of the pasta. Pasta is very special, a lot of homemade touches.
Absolutely.
So I brought you last Sunday, the Petramala clan, kids, grandparents, we all sat around. We had 6 bushels of Roma tomatoes, and we made our annual homemade sauce. So this I'm going to leave with you.
Thank you.
And that is the primary ingredient in today's pasta. It's a rosé rigatoni. So what I did was I took the sauce, blended it with some fresh basil.
Nice.
Okay. Then I took cottage cheese, high protein, very healthy, and I blended it in with the homemade sauce that I'd already blended with the basil.
Yep.
Then I simmered it, cooked like you know how I like to cook the pasta. A little al dente, with a little bit of pasta water left over, mixed it with the sauce, and now you've got this beautiful rosé pasta a la homemade zugo. The sauce. What do they say in the States? They call this sauce the gravy. This is the Petramala gravy we
That's
use.
New York Italian.
Yeah, all right. You right? Try it. Tell me what you think.
Oh, it's very good.
Oh my God. We should just change this podcast into a cooking show because
For sure.
that is amazing. Okay. So what did we pair it with today?
So today, just I got this beer that's kind of my go-to after I mow the grass in the summer. It's very inexpensive, but I think it's a good quality beer. It's called Pilsner, Old Style Pilsner, which, by the way, everybody thinks Pilsner and lager are two different things, but this Pilsner is a kind of lager. Anyway, it's just inexpensive. Cool. I think you could buy a 6-pack tall boys for under $12.
Wow.
But you know, not every beer has to be expensive.
And where's this made?
So this is 100% Canadian. It's made out west. Yeah. So
I was thinking Jamaican with the colors. No,
I love the graphics, but it's Canadian. It's out west.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and since 1926. So.
Made in Canada, Canadian beer.
Yeah, so
that's what we want. Buy Canadian. Buy Canadian.
And it's by Molson's too, by the way.
I love it. Okay.
They own it. But hoppy aroma, nice finish.
Let's try this.
Good summertime beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
God bless. Nice and light.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, very good.
Let me pair it with my pasta here.
Very nice. Anyway, we'll see you outside, and we'll talk about our toys that we can never have.
Let's
go. Cheers.
Cheers. We'll see you on the back end.
Cheers.
Hey! So welcome to episode 7, Pints to Pasta. And today we're here to talk a little bit of childhood, right? Things that
all the fun stuff.
As growing up, the stuff we had, and it's sort of how it translates to how we spoiled our kids nowadays.
That's for sure. Yeah. One of the things we want to talk about today is some of the toys we had, or the amusements we used to.
How we kept ourselves entertained.
Exactly. So going back, remember kindergarten and grade 1, we used to play with dinky cars. I don't even know if anybody uses that term anymore, but remember in the sand, playing with little cars in the sand lot at school. Remember that at St. Mark's?
Dinky cars. Yeah. I think now they would be called.
Drones.
Yes, drones. Yeah. I remember that. We used to collect them. I think actually I still have the original case of all my when I moved, my mom gave me this case that was something she took away from me for being bad when I was young, when I really wanted to play with them, and then gave them to me as an adult when I really don't care. But anyway, I still have them in the original condition.
Yeah, thank God for our moms. She kept all of my Army men, all of my hockey cards, and all of my
those hockey cards. I got the same thing.
Same thing. And all my Matchbox cards. I still have them all. So
I don't know. That spurs a story about the hockey cards. Yeah. If you remember, we loved hockey cards. We could spend hours outside just trading and playing that game. We were flipsies for hockey cards. Yeah. I remember I was jealous because you had them, and I had to beg my parents. And I remember saving all the money I could. It was my money, but my parents were those kind of Italians that even if it's your money, at that age, I was not allowed to go buy these things. I had to ask for permission, even to use my own money. So I remember I took all the money I saved. I gave it to Chris Morin, who was allowed to go to the store and buy his own stuff. I gave him money to go buy me hockey cards. He bought me massive bag of hockey. I think I gave him like $20. So back then, $20 was like this
you
massive amount of hockey cards. I was the happiest man in the world. If you remember, it was that year that the back card was like so you had your paper cards, and then the last card in the pack was like a vinyl picture.
That's OPG?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had this bag of cards. I was the happiest guy in the world. I come home. My mom goes into my lunch bag and she goes, "What's this?" And she got so mad. She gave me the old punishment, took the cards away from me and said she was burning them. I was upset for ages. For sure. And my mom always tells the story. She felt so bad, but she had to teach me a lesson. And I thought she had burnt those cards. And then what did she do? At Christmas, that was my Christmas gift. She gave me the cards back as my Christmas gift.
I'll never forget. Everybody remembers this, but the smell of that gum, that old stale gum. You open it up and that smell, it's so ingrained in me. But it was a form of kind of collateral on the schoolyard, having hockey cards, and you played. It was like a little mini gambling den.
Now they do cocaine and drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Man, but I used to pass the time, man. You just go through the checklist and the cards and trade. Oh, it was so fun.
I don't know if you remember me. You remember me? I was crazy because my dad wouldn't buy me a hockey game. I used to collect the cards. Yeah. I would sort them by teams. Yeah. And then Friday night, because you didn't go out. My parents were watching the TV. They wouldn't let me watch a hockey game. And they'll validate this. Friday night, I would look who's playing each other in hockey. I would take those teams, let's say Montreal against Toronto. I would line up the cards like it was a hockey rink. I would set up a net with cards. Yep. I'd roll up a piece of paper as the puck, and I would play the game. Turnbull to McDonald to Thompson. He shoots, scores. So I'd flick the ball and I'd do like a save or score. And I would spend hours pretending and creating a hockey game out of hockey cards.
I think that's what we're missing. I honestly think that's missing in a lot of childhoods these days, is the fact that we had to make up stuff to do, right? And then the other thing too is,
but my dad was like, he'd like look at me, smile. That's the way to save a lot of money.
No, but so like if we weren't making things up, we were outside doing stuff, totally. Right? Like we rarely stayed inside the house, playing hide and go seek and British Bulldog and all those ones. You couldn't even play it these days because you get hurt.
Yeah.
But
so you bring up a good point. So there's a couple of things. You can't just blame the kids. When we were young, our parents would say, "Go out," and you'd come back at midnight, and they weren't worried.
Yeah.
Now,
with everything,
we just don't let our kids out because we're afraid something's going to happen to them.
I know.
Which is by the way, the data shows it's a fallacy. It's not any worse now than it was today. But as parents, we're so overprotective, and because we see everything and we fear things, we don't let our kids have those experiences.
Yeah. Right. But that, and then the creativity, the fact that when I think, I'm not blaming it, I'm not saying this generation is bad because they have their own sources of creativity, but we were responsible for our own fun and being creative and like, our older brothers and sisters would come and pick us up and do stuff and everything. But at the end of the day, we didn't have all that much money to do that stuff. But even remember, we used to make up games like Scrap Ball. Remember Scrap Ball?
I remember Scrap Ball.
It should be bigger than pickleball.
We would play hours of that, remember?
Yeah. So it was at your house, remember? And you had the unfinished basement, but there was a room that was like half the size of
a doorway on each side.
Yeah, and that was our nets, and it was concrete, and we used to wear like socks and jeans. Like every time I was at your house, we'd go through a pair of jeans,
tennis ball with a slipper. So each hand had a slipper. Yeah, and we just smack the ball at each other trying to score.
Oh man, we come out with bloody noses, everything.
We used to play hours of that. I mean, that's a great example of like kids just wouldn't even come up with anything like that.
Scrap ball, but. Yeah, we should start that and do like a
scrap ball league.
Yeah, scrap ball league. But you'd have to have knees of steel. But yeah, so we had a lot of creativity and even playing with dinky cars on RB Man, it was all thinking about stuff like that. But one thing that I noticed too is anywhere where we went, or like in high school, we'd play like road hockey, right, on the pavement and stuff like that. But I don't see kids. Like everybody has I drive in through my subdivision. I see a basketball net at every house and a hockey net at every house, but I don't see all the kids playing together. Like I see a kid shooting, but they don't get together and do it.
No, like remember, well, you do see some kids.
Kids, but we used to take up the road.
Every road had a game going on. Yeah.
And or the basketball, like it's like everybody has the money to have everything, but we didn't have the money, so everybody got together and somebody had a net somebody brought the balls.
We didn't have nets. Remember, we just 2 boots.
That's true.
And just shoot.
But sometimes we had nets. But I miss those days. But
I'll tell you a story. Like this is like 10 years ago. I used to hang out with a bunch of teachers that Jews worked with at a private school, and every year we'd go to a guy's cottage on the lake in the winter, and go skiing. One year, like people just didn't feel like we drink and didn't feel like skiing, so we shoveled the snow on the ice. No one, and a lot of guys couldn't skate, so no skates. With our boots, road hockey on the ice, 2 boots on each net, and we played
forever.
All day. Grown men, but everyone remembered that's what we did as a kid. And we just couldn't stop. And I remember going inside that night, we're drinking beer, we're eating, like, that was like the funnest day.
I know, simple.
Like, I haven't had in years.
I know.
We had
a pond
hockey on the pond. Pond hockey.
Dude, we had a pond across from my house. And this is how much I loved it. Was I'd put on my skates, I'd skate, because the side of my house wasn't paved or anything, so it was kind of ice and snow, and I'd like kind of skate to the road. I'd run across the road in my skates, so you can imagine the blades, down to, it was called Mud Lake, and skate all day, and then I'd come home for lunch, but not take my skates off, and I'd go back the whole day. It was amazing. Loved it. But I don't see that much either, but hopefully one day that comes back. But some of the toys, Dave, I remember being a kid, like I'm saying around like grade 5 or 6. Do you remember stuff like Evel Knievel and the Bionic Man?
Bionic Man. I had the Bionic Man and Evel Knievel. Those were like godsend.
Classic
ones.
One story I remember, my sister Bernadette. I guess because we were closer in age, we used to kind of scrap it out a bit. But I remember one time I got the Evel Knievel thing going. You know the wheel. Once it goes, but you can do it by rubbing the car.
Yeah.
And she had this nice, beautiful long hair, and she was walking by me one day, and I had it rubbing, and I put it in her hair, and it all got tangled up. It was so bad that my mom had to cut the hair. She was going to kill me. I swear to God, I never bring it up because I don't want her to get back.
That is hilarious.
But I remember that Evel Knievel. But remember G.I. Joe when I was in grade school?
G.I. Joe.
I lent it to you. You broke it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I was in G.I. Joe. We were $6 Million Man. That was our big gift with the or the big gym.
Oh, the $6 Million Man.
Yeah, with the camper and all that stuff. So we were guys, and we had dolls too, though. See, like we didn't have Barbie. We had dolls. We played with dolls. I remember, this is the best story. When I lived in Stouffville, remember in grade, this is like between kindergarten and grade 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember a show when we were young on Sunday mornings. It was called Commander Tom.
Yep.
And Commander Tom,
the mustache.
Yeah. And Commander Tom, the big thing was we're gonna do a carnival. Like you could do like a carnival in your yard to raise money for like this charity.
Yeah.
Commander Tom was. We were so creative. It was me, Chris Morin, his brother, my brother, a bunch of guys, like 5 or 6 of us. We said, "Fuck, let's do this." So we did a carnival. We created games, like 8 games. I remember the Morin's front yard.
Yeah.
And we put up signs, everything that we said we were doing this carnival for muscular dystrophy, because that's what it was.
Yeah.
And we had like hordes of people coming to this game, and we charged like a penny. So at the end of the day, we had this like container full of money we had collected, but we didn't give it to muscular. We split it all up. We went up on hockey cards.
That's hilarious.
We were such shit disturbers. But man, we were so creative. We came up with like these obstacle course, coin toss,
absolutely
off the slide. We created like 5 or 6 games that we saw on Commander Tom, and it made it look like we were actually running this thing.
I know. You know what kills me too is just the cost of hockey sticks and stuff today. Like the kids want, and they play road hockey with it. Remember the best thing was that for $1 you could get a plastic hockey blade. Remember, and you could put it into
on your stick. Yeah.
And then you bake them. And remember, we had curves like that.
They were like, you were the one with this wrapped up curve.
The corky. I call it the corky. Where you take shots and you never hit the net. But it was just incredible. Like we were happy with that. We thought it was the best thing ever, right?
Well, listen, if hockey sticks were like they are today, $300, my dad would have never let me play hockey.
Oh, exactly.
They'd never. We couldn't afford to play hockey. I don't know how. Like I see my nephew, my daughter, my sister's kids, even my brother's kids. Like the money in hockey, it was expensive enough. Like I don't know. You were probably like me. My poor brother never got to play because my dad says it's too expensive. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
And I loved hockey. Like, in fairness, I grew up watching, playing with the hockey. So my dad knew I loved hockey, but he couldn't afford it. But my cousin played, and he gave my dad, the old it was the equipment in the old bag.
Yeah.
He gave it to my dad and to give it to me. So because my cousin gave me equipment, I could play hockey. I remember it was a big thing for him to pay, register to play hockey. But I had all these borrowed equipment, and my skates were figure skates the first time I went on, because that's all he had.
Well, that explains a lot.
The community. That's amazing. The coach came in, he felt bad, and he gave my parents a pair of skates that I could use.
Absolutely. Right. It was funny because we had the same situation. I remember my parents put me in hockey, but they never did enough about it to give me the proper equipment. So I didn't have like a thing to put the, what do you call it, the garter belt to put the socks up and stuff like that. But I just remember being so embarrassed being out my first time, and my socks were down to my ankles and I had pads on and stuff like that. I remember my brother-in-law actually and my sister were newly married, and for my birthday they went out and got me hockey equipment, and it's been part of my life ever since. So thanks, Brent.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. So we had some fun times, but things are different a bit now, eh?
I don't know if you remember, but when I was a kid, I used to say we'd get the Sears catalog and I'd see all the toys. I'd say I'd make a big list of all the toys I want, and I'd give it to my parents, and my dad would give me the Sears catalog back and go for it. And then that was your toy. That was my toy. So I literally, I'd get a shoebox. Yeah. I'd go through the catalog and cut out every toy I wanted. And I would put it in the shoebox every year. Yeah. And I was, I had every toy.
But that shoebox was full of pictures of girls in their underwear.
Oh yeah, that was the bonus. I was able to cut out the bra section too.
That's not true.
But I remember, I'd cut out the racing car, and my parents would watch TV, and I'd be on the couch with a piece of paper. But I would
imagination.
Between the hockey cards, doing the game, and that was when I was really young. I mean, to me, I was fulfilled.
Yeah.
Now, what was the bad part of that? When I had kids, or even my nephews, I felt like, man, I'm going to buy them everything I never got.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And then I spoiled my kids. And then the problem was, as I spoiled them, nothing was good. Like, no matter what I got them, they never really appreciated it.
How many times did you come down after Christmas and the kids are playing with the box that you brought the expensive thing in?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you know what I mean? It's not about the money, right? And it takes a long time for people to figure that out. But when you live it, it's pretty neat. But I got to tell you one thing, because we never had much money. We had a big family, and I look back on it, and damn it, my mom and my dad always ended up getting us stuff for Christmas. I don't know how they did it. I look back and go, oh my God, we had a really fulfilling. They made sure we had what we needed, not what we always wanted, but we always had what we needed, which was good. But yeah, it was good memories.
Yeah, no, for sure. I always remember it was all about making stuff up.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Like being creative. Yeah. Like you said, between the scrap ball and what I remember going outside and playing road hockey by yourself till other guys came and they would see you, and then the game would get bigger and bigger and bigger till it became like a real game.
Yeah.
So all you need was start a net, take shots, and then every kid around the neighborhood would start coming out until it became a game. Absolutely.
Now
a kid will be out there taking shots and people will be afraid to go up.
Exactly. You'd have to sign a waiver to play or something.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, the insurance of it.
One of the funny stories I've ever heard, this is a true story. There's a really brilliant Canadian, I think his last name is McGregor. Anyway, great writer. And he was invited to present at the NHL Awards. And he said he was being seated at a table with Gordie Howe, and his dad was the same age, and Gordie Howe was his dad's favorite player at the time.
Yeah.
So he's at this dinner, and he said they're talking about growing up in the same age. And he said Gordie Howe said to him that he was so poor that him and his brother on the Christmas Eve, would pray that they'd wake up with a boner so they'd have something to play with in the morning. I thought that was most hilarious. That was Gordie Howe, famous Gordie Howe. But,
do you remember you took me to the NHL Awards one year?
Yeah.
And at the table, they always had to have a hockey player sit at the table, but the table behind us was Eddie Shack.
Yeah.
Do you remember wine? Do you remember Eddie Shack? Hey, waitress, there's a hole in my glass.
I know.
We kept drinking the wine.
I remember because his daughter was with him because he obviously couldn't drive, but she was so embarrassed. But he was like, he didn't realize there was only 2 bottles per table, and but he was a nice guy. He was a really nice guy. But
super class. That was one of the greatest nights of my life. That night.
Yeah, I remember Steve Iverson.
Oh,
we were going to the washroom.
What a great guy. And we love Steve Iverson. To me, me personally, I always say he's the greatest player that didn't get the recognition. Like, he does get his recognition, but he's the most underrated player because he played the same time as Gretzky.
Yeah.
But he was so successful, and he still is today, in everything he does. So I was like a massive Yzerman fan. And all of a sudden at the NHL Awards, and he is a great looking guy, by the way. You know, his
wife's beautiful.
He was right there. Remember? Do you remember that? He was right there. And I don't know whether he was having an argument with his wife or whatever, but it probably wasn't the right time to harass
but we were
him.
outside the washrooms. We were heading to the washrooms, and he was there. And I walked up. You said you wanted to meet him. I said, I'll introduce you. So I walked up and I said, hey, Steve, do you mind if we get your autograph? And he goes,
and picture.
And picture. And he goes, he looks at us like, I'm going to the washroom, like kind of irritated. And I went, okay, we'll wait. and he went in. Yeah.
And we waited. Until he came out. I remember that.
And then he kind of came in and kind of...
he was a great guy.
He was a nice guy, but it was funny. Now that I look at it, he was probably going, what the fuck's going on? But anyway.
Or do you remember when we went to the table and it was... And this is timing because Ken Dryden just passed away.
Yeah.
But at the table was Ken Dryden, Eddie Balfour.
Napier.
I can't remember who else.
I think Mark Napier was there.
But we're going in and I had...
Henri Richard.
Yeah. So I had the book, the hockey sweater I had bought for my young daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and my oldest at the time when she was young, Laura. I got the hockey sweater and I brought it. And Cornvaillet signed it. Dryden signed it.
Yep.
And then I went to Balfour and he was like, he sort of blew me off. And Dryden looked at him. Yeah, went like this, and he signed it for me. Like,
I know.
Ken Dryden was such a classy act. I mean, he was such a great guy.
I remember who was it?
Guy Lafleur. Like, I had that book. My daughter. See, again, there's another example. I get this book. I give my daughter this book, signed the hockey sweater, signed by Ken Dryden, Guy Lafleur, Convey, and like
no clue.
There was other. My kid, like they were like, okay, like that book is just sitting in a stack of books.
Remember Wendell Clark and the wives, Daryl Sittler's wife and Wendell's wife. The picture I have.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I got a picture of Dave. We walked up. Their wives are like 11s on a scale of 10, and we said, "Hey, do you guys mind if we take a picture with your wives?"
And we took the picture with their wives, not with them. That was funny.
It was funny, but they were so nice. Wendell Clark was he's a beautiful person. Daryl Sittler. Really classy guy. They were all nice. All hockey players are nice to me, anyway.
Well, at the time, any player that was retired was super gracious with their time. The ones that were still playing,
Johnny Bauer was probably the nicest I've ever met, and accommodating. But he's old school, right?
Yeah,
so he's
that was great. Again, that was like a childhood dream. Like we played hockey cards with those guys, like those guys. We played outside hockey, and all of a sudden we're meeting these guys in real time. It was such a thrill. I gotta thank you for that. That was inviting me that night.
No, that was awesome. Yeah. So just it's kind of nice to reminisce. It's just there were so many toys back then. I remember envying some people that used to get everything, right?
Yeah,
we'd get one toy, and everybody would go to school, and they'd get remember like Atari was big.
Well, I had an Atari. I had an Atari.
I remember,
but I wanted a ColecoVision.
Pong.
So you're never happy. You had Pong. I had Atari.
No.
But I wanted ColecoVision.
No. I played Pong on your Atari. The tennis game and stuff like that. But that was those were the days, right? I think it was funny. I every once I go for walks all the time, and there's a yard sale in one of the neighborhoods I was walking in, and I walk up and there's a set like it looked brand new. It was an Atari set. And I'm like, man, I could never afford one of these when I was a kid.
So you bought it?
No, I didn't buy it, but I should have actually. You know what? It's funny because then I watched that road show where the guy, they go in and they pick and stuff, pickers, and I think the guy said you can get like $3,000 for an old Atari if it's in good condition. I went, holy smokes, they're becoming antiques. That's how old we are now, right?
Yeah, I remember when I was when I joined Subspace and we were like working with a lot of gaming companies.
Yeah.
There was one company, I just can't remember the name, but all they were doing was online, all the classic games, Galaga, Space Invader. It was all the Atari. It was all the Atari games. You could log in and play them.
Nice.
And it was like our generation logging in. So we complained about our kids, but they were getting like rampant us logging in to play those classic games.
Yeah, but our addiction back then was going to video arcades and pumping quarters in too, right?
Yeah.
They just do it in their own. Yeah.
I can play pinball all day, banging that machine, boom, with the bumpers.
Funny. But anyway, brother,
listen.
Here's to another one.
Here's to another episode. Pints to pasta. Actually, this pint was very refreshing, by the way.
Cheers.
And by the way,
it's my basil
very
plant.
impressive basil plant. See, I could have used that in my pasta today.
Nice.
Smells very good.
Now it is.
So let's sit down. Okay. No teachers' names.
Okay. I want to talk about Father Yake or Mr. Young.
What's wrong?
Do you have your?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can't see it.
Sorry, my wife has to.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not. It's sticking in your.
Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. Anyway,
What's the name I give you?